wisdom live in truth.
May all people live in truth, live in wisdom, live in truth.
May all people live in love, live in kindness, live in love.
May all people live in love, live in kindness, live in love.
May all people live in love, live in kindness, live in love.
May all people live in love, live in kindness, live in love.
Violence and war shall be no more. Violence and war shall be no more.
Violence and war shall be no more. Violence and war shall be no more.
Violence and war shall be no more. Violence and war shall be no more.
Violence and war shall be no more. Violence and war shall be no more.
Violence and war shall be no more. Violence and war shall be no more.
Violence and war shall be no more. Violence and war shall be no more.
May all people live in peace, live in justice, live in peace.
May all people live in peace, live in justice, live in peace.
Continuing from last night, this little chapter is called Bringing Home Our Stolen Soul. If you ever heard the description of a society as a soulless society, that's what he's talking about. Okay? A soulless society that's basically concerned just about me, my feelings, my wants. Nobody likes me, nobody loves me, woe is me kind of society. Therefore, I'm going to take and get anything I can. Right? So this chapter is about bringing home our stolen soul, the soul of a society. In the mythic imagination of Indo-Europeans, it is the great battle. In India, it is the battle between the Devas and the Asuras. In Greece, it is the battle between the gods and the giants. In Nordic countries, it is the battle between the Aesir and the Vanir. In Ireland, it is the battle between the Tuatha Dé Danann and the Fomorians. An old book says this about the Tuatha Dé Danann. Do you remember what that means, the Tuatha Dé Danann? The people of the goddess, Danu. Tua means people. Living as they then were in the northern islands of the world, the Tuatha Dé Danann spent their time acquiring visionary sight, foresight, hindsight, acquiring wisdom, knowledge, and the arts, all the arts. The Druid, these, together with all the arts, masters in everything concerning them, they had no equal in the world. That's the Tuatha Dé Danann. Little wonder, then, that it was in a great magical cloud that they came to Ireland, landing in the mountains in Connacht. Connacht is the western province. In truth, they were a divine race, but for all the arts at their command, it was their particular delight to be of one mind with the wind and the rain. Any thoughts about what that might mean? To be of one mind with the wind and the rain.
I enjoy a good storm. It's like maybe they could feel that energy as it moved and did what it did, and they liked feeling that or being that.
Great warrior though he was, Ogma, spelled O-G-M-A, Ogma knew that a spear that went through him would not open him out half as much to the other world as the call of a curlew calling in the bog. The call of a curlew calling in a bog would open him out to this world even more. Have you ever heard anyone speak that language before?
No.
I mean, he's talking in a way that is, he's trying to, in a sense, invoke the language of pre-Christian Ireland. Okay? The faith of indigenous people in Ireland before Christianity landed there. And the other world was very important to them. It wasn't heaven that they had in mind. It was the other world. And they could enter the other world at times from this world. And sometimes people from the other world came on horseback to this world and carried them away to the other world. It was fascinating, fantastic kind of way to see things. Okay, going on. In the end, You could walk through the land and not know that they were there. That's how close, that's how together, how one mind they were with the wind and the rain and all of nature. You couldn't see them, you couldn't hear them. They were so in touch, so in tune, at one with all of nature. Now that's the description of the Tuatha Dé Danann. Here comes the description of their foes, the Fomorians. The Fomorians came ashore one day, their features hanging like seaweed when the tide is out, their tongues the color and shape of cormorants' tongues. Has anybody seen a cormorant tongue?
Yeah, recently.
What color is it? Anybody know?
I think they're dark.
The dark. Their tongues, the color and shape of cormorants' tongues, and the clamor of storms in their talk. Fomorians came ashore. And here's what the Fomorians did. The Fomorians rerouted rivers. They built towers everywhere, cut down forests, and it was soon clear that it would come to a fight. So, you know, the people of Danu, the Tuatha Dé Danann, who were really tight with nature, really at one with the wind and the rain and the trees and everything. The Fomorians were the exact opposite, total opposite. So you knew at some point it's going to come to it. Now here's the description of the battle, and then we'll stop here tonight. As Janmoy already said in the beginning, it's all about the battle in ancient mythology and ancient lore, the great battle. Whether it's this culture, that culture, the Greeks, the Egyptians, wherever it is, there's always a great battle. And here's how this great battle is described, the Irish in the land of Ireland. Never before or since did the battle hag screech as she screeched that night. Her mouth, this is what I would not read this with children present. Okay? Her mouth bleeding in excited anticipation of the greatest battle that would ever be fought in Ireland. So long and so loud and so piercing was her third screech. It cut gaps in mountains. It sent incoming tides back out. And as far away as Westminster, that's pretty far in Ireland, where a man was talking that night with his wife, he was not able to finish what he had to say because, sliced down the middle, the two halves of him and what he was saying fell to either side of her. Have you ever heard anyone speak this way? I mean, it's just incredible. And then he concludes, it was that kind of battle. The battle hag, he mentions here, is also interchangeably at times with what's called the banshee, the woman who cries out in the moment of death, often just before death, as a kind of warning. Right? People in the west of Ireland would claim to hear the cry of the banshee on the wind just before someone in the family died. Right? There's a great belief, still to this day in Ireland, that the feminine cry has a power that nothing else has. Nothing else. And they still practice it when someone dies. So this is a description of the Fomorians, the Tuatha Dé Danann, and now the battle that was happening. Maybe that's a good place to stop. It was that kind of battle. Any thoughts on that? get a sense of how great the intensity was in ancient Ireland, and that matter for ancient societies. There was a great desire for battle. To go into combat, to go into war and fight and be fearless, right? To protect your people. And to be a warrior in the best sense of the word. It was a kind of intense desire that I don't know, since I've never been in actual combat, apart from street gang fights, what that really must have been like. Because it was not just a single person, it was a group of people that were together and would, through music, by the way, through drumming, they would so psych themselves up into no other word for it, fighting frenzy, that they were literally fearless. They would go at you, there was no fear, they would just fly at you. And of course the ancient Irish, in their case, it was both men and women. And most often they were buck naked. So and they would paint their bodies and their hair. So if you can imagine, and often they would be in the forest, and they come flying out of the forest at you. You can imagine, a large crowd of naked men and women, painted bodies and hair, spears and swords flying at you. You might think twice about engaging them. Totally frenzied and fearless. That's what we're talking about, that kind of battle. And you can't help but compare that to today, where you have somebody sitting in an office at a computer, pushing a button, and a drone flies overhead and kills 30 people. Something diabolical about that, It's not human. I mean, if you're going to fight, fight, for God's sake, Have at it. But to sit in a cushy office, which is the way it's done today very much, for many people anyway, and just push a button and instant death. Something to ponder. So I guess what I'm trying to say is that what John Moriarty is presenting is a very, very powerful part of being human. And it has to do with courage. It has to do with the capacity to stand your ground and to defend what needs defending, right? And not to be mealy-mouthed and whiny about life, but to really have at it. It's something that you can still learn.
I read some philosopher, I can't remember which, said that the entire nature of battle or warfare changed with the invention of guns. Because before that, you were meeting another human being face to face. And if you had to kill, you knew you were killing a person, and you knew you were just as likely to get killed. Right. It was one-on-one. Right. But as soon as guns were invented, and then, of course, our technology, you said with a drone, you're not involved. It's just a picture on a screen. It's not a human.
Right.
Yeah.
Huge change.
Yeah.
And somehow that suggests a huge change in us. It's not just technology, but it's human change.
Detachment from the world.
There's been stories about pilots with fighter jets. They're ordered to fly to a certain place and drop a bomb there, but they're disconnected. They don't see what they've done, and when they do see, if they chance to see it on the news or something, and they start to realize what they've done, it's really tough.
Yeah. Maybe one of the best examples of that, Barb, is the pilot who flew the bombs over Hiroshima,
Oh,
and later on he came to regret that, the dropping of the
oh,
atomic
yeah.
bomb. Yeah. So it's something to contemplate, it's something to reflect upon. How do we as human beings today engage with others, whether it's in confrontation or collaboration? Can we keep it human? Can we really keep ourselves human? I'll close with a song. close of this day, a prayer for peace, and that we might have the compassion and the courage to be peacemakers. May it be so.